Now that we've talked through how to find area on basic circles, we're going to jump into some more complex problem-solving type skills where we're really going to have to use our problem-solving skills to think this through. And this isn't an easy skill to do, and it might even be, this video might even be one that you choose to watch a second time, just after you get the notes down, just to pay attention and watch and listen one more time, because this stuff is difficult to understand and kind of grasp all at one time. So it says, a candy machine creates small chocolate wafers in the shape of circular discs. The diameter of each wafer is 16 millimeters. To the nearest tenth, what is the area of each candy? Draw and label a picture. So again, candy machine creates small chocolate wafers in circular discs, so I'm going to draw a circle. The diameter of each is 16 millimeters. So to the nearest tenth, what's the area? So I've drawn a picture, I've labeled it with the diameter. What information do we know? We know that the diameter is 16 millimeters, which means that the radius, half of 16, 16 divided by 2, is 8. So my radius is equal to 8 millimeters. The formula, area equals pi r squared, is what we're trying to find, area. And we're trying to find to the nearest tenth, so we're trying to find the estimated answer. So here we're going to be doing area equals pi times 8 squared. 8 to the second power is 64, and then we multiply that times pi. Because they want an estimated or answer rounded to the nearest tenth, I'm going to punch in 64 times pi, and when I do that I get 201.061928. Rounded to the nearest tenth, I'm getting 201 1/10 millimeters squared. So to come back and double check and make sure things make sense, we're talking about candy, millimeters squared. We're talking about area, so my label should be squared. And I did pi r squared, which was pi times 8 squared. And my answer seems like it makes sense. So if you have questions, again, I would really recommend that you just pause the video and write your questions out to the side so that you don't forget them before class. And that goes for any of these problems. As you have questions come up, make sure that you write them down so that you don't forget and you can't ask in class. Number 4, find the exact area of the shaded region. What information do we know? Well, here we know that of the big circle, we have a radius of 12 centimeters. And of the small circle, we know that we have a radius of 7 centimeters. And our formula for area is pi r squared. When they ask us for exact, that means in terms of pi, which is actually, in my opinion, easier. So how do I approach this problem? Well, we have to think about, to find the shaded region, we're going to find the area of the big circle, which would be this whole thing, and then we're going to subtract the unshaded part, subtract this area, to figure out what that ring shaded area is. So we're going to subtract small area from large area to find that shaded region. So the big circle is going to be pi times pi r squared, pi 12 squared. The small circle is going to be pi times 7 squared. So I got 144 pi and 49 pi. Now, because it wants an exact answer, that means it wants it in terms of pi, I'm just going to do the big circle's area minus the small circle's area, and the pi serves like a variable, so I can just subtract 144 minus 49. If you need your calculator, you can use it. 144 minus 49, we get 95 as our answer, 95 pi. And then I just need to add a label, 95 pi centimeters squared is the area of the shaded region here. So you can see that what I did was I found the area of the big, because that was the big shaded area here. And then I took away the area of the unshaded to find the shaded rings area. And I got it the exact answer in terms of pi, 95 pi centimeters squared. So this last one, a circle has a circumference of 22 pi centimeters. What is the exact area of the circle? Hint, draw and label a picture. So again, we're gonna, I'm just gonna draw down here at the bottom. I'm going to draw a circle. And we know that the circumference is 22 pi, so that's the distance around the circle. So what information do we know? Well, we know that circumference is equal to 22 times pi. We also know that the formula for circumference is pi times d. So if that is the case, if circumference equals pi times d, and the circumference of this circle is pi times 22, then we know that our diameter is 22 centimeters. That's what we know. Because of the formula here in the overlap, the diameter is 22, which then means that our radius is half of that, so divided by 2, our radius is 11 centimeters. And we also know that the area of a circle, the formula for that is pi r squared. So here's the algebra part where we looked at our formulas. We could also say C is equal to pi times d, and if we wanted to know what our diameter was, or if we looked at our circumference, circumference is 22 pi equals pi times d. If I wanted to isolate my variable d, I would divide both sides by pi, and pi would cancel, and my diameter is equal to 22. That's another way that we can use algebra to tell us that the diameter is 22, which then means that our radius is 11. Either of those ways work to get us to the same thing. They both are using some algebra skills and some algebra reasoning. So this last part, area equals pi r squared. Well, my radius is 11. It wants an exact answer, which means it wants it in terms of pi. So I get 121. 11 squared is 121 pi. When I label this, centimeters, when we're talking about area, squared. So my answer here is 121 pi centimeters squared. I tried to mention this a couple times at the beginning, in the beginning and during the video, but it might be helpful to watch this video again because these are definitely some higher level problem solving skills. It may also be helpful to pause the video at any point when you rewatch and make sure that you write down questions for yourself to ask once you get into class, because this is a tough and difficult problem solving lesson with area for us to all get.